Hello, it's Sunday. Hey everybody, I hope you had a great week. And today is Sunday, and it's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So is everybody ready for Gobble Day? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And this is chat number 47, I guess. And so now we're only 3 away from our big chat for the new program. So hey Sheila, hey Barbara. If you're watching this live, hey Kim, then today is Sunday and you're watching it live. Hey Pat, and I will be saying hi to people because this is a live chat. Hi Caroline, hey Lynn. Lynn says hey to the gang. Hey Joyce, and if you're watching this later, then you're not live and you're probably going to be wondering why I'm talking to everybody. Anyway, hey Tammy, and hey C, hey, good to see you. Good to see you, C. Yeah, hey Kim. So, has everybody had a great week? And last week, let's see, who remembers what we talked about last week? Hey Mary, hey Betty. Who can tell me what we talked about last week? Hey Sybil. And is everybody getting excited about the new program? Okay, and one of my friends who does not need to be on Weight Watchers just joined us, so yeah, I'm guessing he's not gonna hang around too long, but hey Shanna, hey Meredith, hey Barbara. For you, those of you that are just joining us, hey Nancy, tonight is live, so today on Sunday we're doing this live. If you can't catch us live, hey Kim, hey Janet, then you can watch us later here on Facebook, or you can watch it on YouTube. That's youtube.com/IfYouHaveAnEgg. Hey, I'm Georgianne. Hey, Kim. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Mary. So yeah, you can watch us anywhere. Oh, and yep, Cheryl's right. Cheryl says beans. We talked about beans last week. Does everybody remember what your homework was? Hey, another Cheryl. Hey, Kim, and hey, Jennifer. Kim's exactly right. Beans. Yep, Kristen. Hey, Kristen. So what did everybody do? What did you do last week? Do you remember what your homework was? Hey Sybil, and Sybil says, yeah, she can't wait for the new program either. Hey Sandra, hey Barbara. Yeah, Barbara's excited about the new program. Hey Rebecca, hey Andrea. Okay, who did their homework? Joyce, you're right. Hey Joyce, she says beans. Hi Wendy. So what did y'all do? Did you do your homework? Who had a meatless meal last week? Hey Tedders. Oh, and it's Barbara. Hey to Barbara, and it's her first time catching us live. So everybody say hey to Barbara. And hey Debbie. Oh, Sybil says she failed at the homework. No, you didn't fail at it. You're back, so that's awesome. Oh, and Meredith says make sure you know your username and password. Meredith, that's your homework from now until the first week of December. So remember that. Yeah, and Barbara says it was how to eat a bean. Yes, we were talking about beans for sure. So I hope everybody had a meatless meal. Hey, Lynn. Yeah, Lynn was right. She says make a meatless meal. Cheryl says go meatless. Yeah, just one meal. That's all I wanted you to do, was just to try one meal meatless. So if you had one meal last week that was meatless, and it looks like Adrian did, then everybody, it looks like Janet did too. So everybody that had at least one meatless meal last week, I want to see some thumbs up. So those of you that are watching this later on YouTube, or if you're watching this later on my blog, www.ifyouhaveanegg.com, if you're watching it there later, you're not going to be able to see thumbs up. So you all just have to chime in and comment, and you can comment on the blog, and I promise I answer them, and you can comment on YouTube, and I'm a tiny bit behind on answering the YouTube ones, but I promise I will answer them. And hey to all the people that I just missed as you were going up. Okay, and Cheryl says she failed because she doesn't do beans. Cheryl, you didn't have to eat just beans for your meatless meal. You know, and Debbie says, does not eating count for meatless? Why didn't you eat? Why didn't you eat, Debbie? We need to know why you didn't eat any food. Okay, so guess what I'm gonna need again for this week? I'm gonna need a timekeeper. Hey Tracy, good to see you. Tracy says she made it. Yeah, and Sandra says she had 5 meatless meals. Awesome. Yeah, and let's see. Oh, and Barbara says hello to everybody, and she says she did, even though she didn't watch. That's awesome, Barbara. So right now, it is 8:05, and I need a timekeeper for what I want to show you at the end of this. I think 20 minutes would be okay. Oh, okay, I'm going to pause for a minute. Debbie said the reason that she didn't eat was because of Primera, so Primera's been sick all week. I'm hoping she's doing better. Let us know how that's going. Dusty got sick last week, too. Yeah, and $124 worth of medicine later, he's not allowed to have bacon or chicken or pretty much any human saturated fats anymore. So we might all want to keep that in mind too. But anyway, so Cheryl says she's got the time clock. So Cheryl, I need to know, as always, I need to know when it's about 20 till, because I do have some food to show you. So this week, who went to a meeting? Who went to a meeting this week? This week we were talking about Thanksgiving, and if you're watching this later on YouTube, yes, I know it's backwards. So we were talking about Thanksgiving. So how many of you are in the U.S. and you're celebrating Thanksgiving? If you're in the U.S. and celebrating Thanksgiving, let's switch to a heart instead of thumbs ups. So if you're in the U.S. and you celebrate Thanksgiving, let's do a heart. If you are not in the U.S., just say hey. So I don't know if there's any of you outside of the U.S. that are watching tonight, but I'm assuming Thanksgiving, this kind of Thanksgiving, is a U.S. holiday, and I know Canada has Thanksgiving as well, which we'll have to talk about sometime because I don't really understand Canadian Thanksgiving. Never really thought about it. But anyway, so our Thanksgiving. Did you know that Thanksgiving is the #1 day that food is consumed in the United States? The #1 day. So I know there are a lot of people that are having some anxiety about this, and with a good reason, because again, it is the #1 day. Does anybody have a guess on what the #2 largest day is for eating? I'll just let y'all think about that for a second and answer it. Yeah, so Thanksgiving is #1. What day do you think is #2? The #2 largest day. So if you went to your Weight Watchers meeting this week, you should have gotten a weekly, and the weekly for this week says, oh, Carol already guessed it. Nancy said Easter. It's not Easter. So you should have gotten a weekly this week. Kim says New Year's. Nope, not New Year's. Nope, not Easter, Lynn. The Weight Watchers weekly was the Great Plate, plan how you'll have a happy Thanksgiving. Barbara says New Year's. Nope, not New Year's. I'll give you just a couple of more guesses, and then we're going to switch to the weekly. So if you didn't get a weekly this week, yep, and Cheryl, okay, so Cheryl is exactly right too. Merry, not Christmas. Super Bowl. So I know we're nowhere near, well, we're kind of near ready to talk about the Super Bowl, but yeah, Thanksgiving in the U.S., Thanksgiving is #1, the Super Bowl is #2. So guess which day we'll be having another one of these big chats? Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. So, but for today, we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. And oh, Kathy says, in Canada, our harvest is done sooner, so they celebrate in October. Okay, awesome. Yay, so they have Thanksgiving in October. Good. And I'll be curious to know too, when we start talking about some of the U.S. Thanksgiving foods, how many of those are common for Canada or other countries that celebrate something similar. But yeah, since this is the #1 day that we eat, and hey Shirley, it's the #1 day that we eat here in the United States, and a lot of it revolves around family. I know when both of my grandmothers were alive, there was a lot more pressure to eat lots of food on Thanksgiving, and to eat lots of things that were fat-laden, that were cooked with lots of butter, lots of lard. I had one grandmother that loved lard. I had another grandmother who ate lots of healthy fruits and vegetables for her meal, but then she was big on dessert. So, she might feed you lots of fruits and vegetables for dinner, but then you were going to have dessert till the cows came home. So I know it revolves a lot around family, and I want you, if you notice on the weekly, and remember, if you're online or if you have eTools and if you missed a week, you can get these online. You can go back and look for them. It's easier if you get it during the week, if you get it during that week. But notice that it says on the front of it, plan how you'll have a happy Thanksgiving. This does not say plan how you will deprive yourself this Thanksgiving. It does not say plan how you will watch the rest of your family be happy and you'll sit in the corner and pout this Thanksgiving. It doesn't say anything like that. It says plan how you will have a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, and C says in Brazil we eat turkey and ham in Christmas Eve dinner. Oh, okay. So they save their turkey and ham for Christmas. We have some of that too. Yeah, and Sybil says she overindulged this weekend because Friday was her birthday. Happy birthday, Sybil. Everybody tell Sybil happy birthday. Okay, so this is how you're going to have a happy Thanksgiving. And so Weight Watchers, as usual, it's all about the plan. So in our weekly, it says that, having a happy Thanksgiving, it's all about the plan. At even the most bountiful of feasts like Thanksgiving, you can choose what foods are worth it and which foods are not, and still enjoy the day. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about is planning. It is about how you're going to enjoy the day. The next section is talking about thinking about your menu ahead of time. If you have that luxury, if you have the luxury of thinking about the menu ahead of time and working on that, I think it's great. And if not, then we're just going to work on how to plan the rest of your day so that you can still enjoy yourself for that time. And I'm sorry, I'm sidetracked a second. So one of our Karens drove an hour and 15 minutes to Trader Joe's to get the delicata squash, and she bought 6 of them. Yeah, I have sold Knoxville out of delicata squash, so there is no more in Knoxville. If you live here and you know where to get any, call me, because I can't find any. I've had to switch to acorn squash it's not the same. I'm still gonna make an acorn squash recipe for Thanksgiving, but yeah, it's not the same. So we're gonna switch to what we're gonna talk about, because I never completely follow the weekly, but they talk about filling in your 12-hour strategy. So they're talking about, if you were if your big meal was for dinner, they talk about having a healthy breakfast, make sure you have a regular meal, start the day so that you can, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read your comments as I'm talking, but anyway, so you can start your day and you're not just crazy hungry when you get to the actual big meal. Then mid-morning, they want you to have a little snack so that you're not starving. It's going to stretch out your day. You can have a low point snack, but remember, I like to make them a high protein snack so that it's going to last with you longer and your blood sugar is not going to dip. And then at midday, they suggest that you go ahead and eat a light and nutritious lunch. So again, not going to be ravenous. You're going to spread your points out a little bit. Doesn't mean it has to be a lot of points. But then at the big meal, you've got some decisions to make. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I'm going to get you all to vote on this. So how many of you, for your Thanksgiving, how many of you are planning on tracking? So I want to see thumbs ups. And if you could see this island, I have stuff everywhere. How many of you are planning on tracking? You have either enough control over what's going to be served, or you're actually cooking the meal, or you've gotten the menu ahead of time. But how many of you are planning on tracking on Thanksgiving Day? Okay, looks like a lot of thumbs up. So those of you watching this later on YouTube, or if you're watching this later on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, you're not going to be able to see them, but there's lots of thumbs ups. Okay, so how many of you are just planning on eating some of what you want, and trying to stop when you're comfortable? So if you all are doing that, let's see hearts. And heart again, thumbs ups are you're actually going to track. You're going to track, you're going to write it down, you're going to figure out what the points are, you're going to try and plan a little bit ahead of time, you're going to try and get a hold of the menu, or you are the menu, or you're scheduling the menu, so you can do that. Those are thumbs ups. And then the hearts are people who are you're not necessarily going to track, but you're going to try and stop when you're going to try and stop when while you still feel comfortable, and just kind of, try to graze a little bit. Okay, seriously. I'm serious. I want to see a show of hands. And I don't know what the next thing is after hearts. So there's thumbs, and then there's hearts, and then is it a smiley face? Try really, really hard not to hit the angry face or the sad face. Yeah, try really hard while we're voting on this one. So now how many of you are just going to throw caution to the wind and just eat whatever you want to on Thanksgiving Day? So I guess, if that's a smiley face, maybe. So let's see how many smiley faces. Let's see how many people. Okay, so there's one. So there's one honest person. Seriously, only one person is going to just enjoy themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, and we're not going to point you out. I'm just curious. There's a couple more. Okay, the reason I ask that is because whether you're a thumbs up person, you're going to plan ahead, track, you're going to know what everything is before you go in, or if you're a heart person, if you're the person who's going to just have a general idea, not track the points, but just have a general idea, and try to stop when you're comfortable, or if you're just going to throw caution to the wind and just eat because it's Thanksgiving, you know what, you still had a plan. So I know it doesn't sound like it, but all three of you had a plan. The people who your plan is to just eat whatever you want to, remember, this is Thanksgiving Day. This is not Thanksgiving weekend. This is not Thanksgiving week. This is not Thanksgiving year. There's a whole lot of other things, in between now and the year. There's nothing wrong with going ahead and enjoying your family, going ahead and just doing whatever you want to do on Thanksgiving. Just remember, it's one day. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to throw caution to the wind, I need you to pinky promise me that come Friday or whatever the next day is, well, first of all, that you're not going to, and Casey wants to know if you get a pass if you're 8 months pregnant. I guess you get a pass, Casey. I guess you can have whatever you want. Although you have extra luggage now in this region that's going to keep you from getting too crazy, because she's starting to take up enough room that you're not going to be able to go wild. But anyway, so just remember, it's one day. So, maybe you can eat light that day. That doesn't mean that you have to go crazy at breakfast, crazy at lunch, and then go insane at dinner. I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying that, meal. Okay, so part of that planning though, even if you're not going to track, I still think that you need to have some idea of what you're talking about when you go in. So I'm going to show you some of my measuring tools. I'm not saying that you need to show up at people's houses with measuring spoons, although I've done that before. My accountability buddy Karen has the same, she has a similar set of measuring spoons, and we use that sometimes in our food at her house. Although she's homeless right now because they finally sold their other house and the new house isn't ready yet, so they're kind of in between right now. But she has a similar set of these serving spoons. But I want to show you some generalizations so that what are y'all talking about? I see she's live every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Did somebody ask a question? Oh, wait. Thank you for doing this video. Do you go live a lot? Oh, yeah. So, Sarah. Sorry. Yeah, Sarah, I saw yours came up after I saw the 2 responses. Yes, ma'am. We do this every Sunday night. Occasionally, I play hooky. I think I've played hooky twice this year, but we are on our 47th live chat, and our 50th live chat is actually going to be the Sunday after the new program is in place. So we'll spend that night just answering questions. And just a side note, if we do happen to end up in Orlando that night, I believe that is December the 10th, maybe we're talking about doing the live chat maybe from Disney Springs. So I don't know, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. So if anybody, oh no, and Sarah, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I was sorry because I saw the responses before I saw your question. But yeah, so anybody that's in the Orlando area, if it works out, we're thinking about doing that. So we thought that would be fun to have the 50th, somewhere special and to do something special. But anyway, we'll talk about the new program later. Y'all know how, those of you that have been here very often know how easily distracted I am and know how easy it is to distract me. So I don't know why that comment just distracted me for a second. One reminder, please, the UK has already started the new plan, and there is a whole lot of stuff being shared, some of which I know I don't know, but I feel confident is going to translate into our US plan. But please, get excited, be happy with with some of the things that are coming, but please do not try and switch to the new plan until you have all of the information. I've seen people in other groups that are saying, oh, on the new plan, such and such is 0. Okay, yeah, on the new plan, but you're not on the new plan. So I'm still on 30 points a day, and I still have the same number of weeklies and everything. I'm still on the current plan because we don't have our new plan yet. So you cannot start counting those things as 0. So anyway, I'm super excited about the new one. Super excited about some of the things that have, that I've been seeing, trickle out. But please do not say, oh, I saw on such and such group on the UK plan that, whatever is 0, and go ahead and start counting it as 0. That is a disaster. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Please don't do that. Please be patient. It will be here before you know it. So anyway, okay, so be prepared before you go. So how many of you are having Thanksgiving at your house? How many people have, and I know I'm gonna drive y'all crazy with thumbs ups tonight, but I need some feedback. So how many of you are having Thanksgiving at your house, or you got to help in the planning so you have a little more control over it? So let's see some thumbs ups for that. So if you had a little more control over Thanksgiving, or it's at your house, so you can plan a little bit better, let's see those. Okay, so for those of you who can do that, you could use, measuring spoons. It's not going to seem weird, if you already have some things measured out, or if you're using your own, measuring spoons. And I'll show you some cool things I use to measure here in a second. Okay, so how many of you are going somewhere else? You're either going out to eat, you're going to another family member or a friend's house, and you have no control of it. You have hearts. If you have no control over your Thanksgiving meal, Like you're literally just gonna show up. Let's see some hearts. Show me some hearts on that. Okay, so a lot of hearts. So for those of you watching later on YouTube, and again, that's youtube.com/IfYouHaveAnEgg, there's a lot of hearts going by. So we have a whole lot of people that are gonna have no control over what they're eating. So first things first, go in with a plan. Even if the plan is you're not gonna track, that's your plan, because the plan is you're gonna enjoy whatever of one meal, okay? That's the plan. Enjoy one meal. Okay, if you're one of the people that's going to try a little bit and try everything in moderation, I'm going to show you one thing I do. So this is a spoon. Does everybody recognize this as a spoon? Yeah. So this is a spoon. This is a regular spoon that you would eat with. Came in a regular set of silverware. This is not a serving spoon. This is not a soup spoon. This is just a regular spoon like you would eat cereal with. Okay, so one thing I do, if I have zero control and I have no way to measure anything or guesstimate anything, or like at a family reunion, if I've decided, you know what, I see these people once a year, some of these things are things I may or may not get next year, you know, or may not ever get again. So I'll try a whole lot of the things. If I'm trying a bunch of things, I'll get a spoon like this, just a regular size spoon, and a plastic spoon at a family reunion. But if I get one bite, and a bite is a spoonful. A bite is not a spoonful, it's a spoonful. I count, just as a guesstimating tool, I count 1 point per spoonful. This size spoon though, not soup spoon, not serving spoon. 1 bite per spoonful. Go around and have, you know, as much as I want, but I just count one point per spoonful. Okay, that's one thing that I do. Then I start to look, or like when I'm at home, and try to pre-plan, or if I'm at home, I know what my serving things are. So I have this nifty set from Weight Watchers, and it's funny because I accidentally got it. Somebody else had ordered it and they never claimed it, and so our leader was like, does anybody want, I know it wasn't free, but she said, does anybody want to buy this? And I went, sure, I'll buy it. I have used the heck out of this thing. So this spoon came with that set, and this is a 1/4 cup. So I have a 1/4 cup ladle that I can use for, you know, serving anything, but it's a 1/4 cup, and so I can do I usually do liquids with this, like soups or broths or things like that, or drink, you know, some kind, you know, like punches or things like that. So that's a 1/4 cup. Then it has this. Is a 1/2 cup. That's a big honking spoon. That is a big spoon, and that's a 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup. So I use that when I'm serving my own food, or sometimes I'll take it to other people's houses. Yeah, they already think I'm weird, so it really doesn't matter. This is my ice cream scoop. My ice cream scoop is a 1/4 cup again. So sometimes if I just need to know what a 1/4 cup of something is, or like I use this for my Halo Top ice cream. But again, a 1/4 cup is this. A 1/4 cup is not that. Yeah, so keep that in mind. But I use this a lot for that. And the way you can find out what size, if you have any, you know, spoons or anything like this, all I did was fill it with water. You know, if I don't already know what the measurement is on it, I fill it with water, and then pour it into a, you know, measuring utensil and figure it out. So this is a 1/4 cup. Then I have these little cups, and if I don't think Sally's on here, but if Sally was on here, I'd have to hide these because she's got this weird thing about cute little cups. But these are just little silicone baking cups that I got. I think they're Wilton. I got them at either Home Goods or Target. This is a 1/3 cup, so it's just a little baking cup, but that's a 1/3 cup. So just, you know, I try to keep that in mind. This is a little mixing bowl thing that I got at, let me think, I got it at World Market, and I bought these for when I do the recipes online. Sometimes I have to have the stuff already in a little bowl, and if you're looking for any of the recipes, they're at, because I keep forgetting to say this, they're at www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Sorry. But when I put things out in these little bowls, I needed these, but these also happen to be a 1/2 cup. So that's a 1/2 cup bowl. And then I have these Pyrex dishes that I got from my mom, and these are not to the top, but they're just a little bit, you know, thicker. So I use these. These are just a little baking cup. So just, you know, I try to keep that in mind. But I use this a lot for when I do the recipes online. Sometimes I have to have the stuff, already in a little bowl, and if you're looking for any of the recipes, they're at www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Sorry. But when I look at things but just above this little ridge line. So can you see how it has the ridges on here? I've never measured what each ridge is. I don't know if that's, you know, a measurement on each one, but, and thank you for putting that up there, Casey. So, hey Melinda, how are you? But if you go just on these dishes, and again, I measured them, I put water in them, and then I poured that into an actual measuring cup to see what that is. Wait, Casey says, Carol, she is a cat whisperer. I don't know what that means. What's a cat? Who are you talking about, Casey? But anyway, so when you go above this, it's a, that's a cup. So this will hold a cup. So a lot of times in the morning, if I'm doing my, if I'm eating cereal, I'll go ahead and put my Trader Joe O's in here because I know this is a cup. And that way I don't have to measure them and put them into another bowl. I just put them in here and it's 1 cup. And sometimes when you see my pictures on www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, when you see them on there, you'll see sometimes they're in these little containers. You'll see them on there. Oh yeah, okay. Carol says that her cat is sitting in her lap watching me. Yeah, I do have a weird way with cats. Like I have talked cats out of hiding places that when people are like, what? That cat never comes out to see anybody. So yeah, kind of, sort of. And Beth says she joined late because she's been shopping at Wegmans. Never been to a Wegmans, I'd love to. And Judy says she has some of the silicone some silicone measuring cups. They were awesome that she got at Weight Watchers. But yeah, and Carol, if I wouldn't just completely send everybody else over, I mean, they wouldn't, I don't know. I'm not going to do it, but Casey knows the noise I'm talking about. There's a noise that I make for cats and they can't resist it. I've maybe had 2-3 cats my entire life that have been able to resist that noise, but I will resist from doing it here. But anyway, so sometimes you'll see in my pictures, you'll see these little cups, and you might think that I'm using them for decorative purposes, but I'm actually using them to measure because sometimes I'm lazy and I need something else to measure. Okay, so we have those. We have that. Before I show you a couple of other things, I want everybody to guess how much do you think this is? Okay, so this is quinoa. It is quinoa and rice. It is seeds of change, quinoa and brown rice. And how much do you think this is? What size does everybody think this is? What kind of a serving? What kind of a serving does everybody think this is? And while y'all are guessing on that, oh gosh, and Barbara says the time's 8:27. I better start talking quickly. Sorry, had to get a sip of drink. Mary says it's a cup. C says it's a half a cup. Lynn says a cup. Debbie says a cup. This is a lot of rice. Look at this. This is big. This is a lot of rice. Cup, cup, cup. Karen says cup. Kim says cup. Diane says cup and a half. Nancy says a cup. Okay, I'm gonna stop because we're gonna run out of time. That's a half a cup. That's a half of a cup. A half a cup. So all you people that are panicking over eating, and I'll run over some amounts here in a second, that are panicking because you think you're going to be eating a cup of anything, that's a half a cup. Look, here's the half a cup spoon. Let me see if I can do this without dumping it out. Ooh. Okay, a tiny bit came out. Half a cup. That is a half of a cup. Half a cup's a big serving. So all this time here, I've been thinking, you know, oh my gosh, I'm spending all these points, whatever. That's a half a cup. Yeah, Carol says that's a half a cup. Okay, so I will say this, calm down. Thanksgiving's okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to live. Here's one thing I want you to do. No, and it's really, Loretta says it's a big half a cup. That's a half of a cup. So this is a 9-inch plate. This is a normal, yeah, and Casey says that's an optical illusion. Yeah, Gwen does this to us every year. Every year she makes mounds of Play-Doh and then makes us guess what size they are, and we get it wrong every year. Even though I've been doing this 20-something years, I get it wrong every year because it always just amazes me. Okay, this is a 9-inch plate. This actually used to be a standard size dinner plate. Please try to eat off of a 9-inch plate. This is what people eat off of now. So a 9-inch plate, and I'll show you what a 9-inch plate looks like with food on it in just a second, or in a few minutes when Cheryl tells me it's time to stop. This is what we eat off of now. Please don't eat off of this for Thanksgiving. This is an 11-inch plate, 9-inch plate, 11-inch plate. You don't need this much food. If you take your 9-inch plate, fill it up, and you, and Sybil says that was a generous half a cup. No, it was to the top. It was not generous at all. It was to the top. I promise I did not overfill it. It is a half of a cup. But anyway, a 9-inch plate, that's all you need. Please do not eat off of a huge plate, because if you eat, so if you fill up your 9-inch plate, and if you're not satisfied, if you're still hungry, or if you feel like you want something else, go back and get it, but get it on your smaller plate. If you start out with a 9-inch plate and you eat everything on it, you may or may not, eat everything. And Cheryl says she uses a very small plate. If you use an 11-inch plate, I promise you, you're gonna eat everything that's on that plate, whether you want it or not. So, yeah. So use a small plate. So if you have any control over this, use a small plate. Do partition things out in bowls. So again, like when I'm at home, and you'll see in some of my pictures that I post, I have things separated into bowls, and I know you think it's because I'm using it for decoration. No, it's because I'm measuring it. Okay, so let's just go over some things here. If you don't have any measuring utensils, so you're going to somebody else's house and you have no measuring utensils at all. I don't know if y'all have seen this. If you have the very first Weight Watchers book, the one that you get when you start, and I cannot think what it's called, Getting Started maybe. It has this list in there, but I don't know if y'all remember this or not. If you have nothing else, like if you're going out to eat, or and I've measured stuff out to eat too. Yeah, so you might not want to go out to eat with me. But if you have nothing to measure it with, or if you're somebody else's house and you don't want to ask, and that's okay. I mean, you don't have to be weird like I am and measure everything. Of course, everywhere I go, people are putting things on their plate and they're looking at me going, how many points is that? Or even people that are not on Weight Watchers get me to like calculate their plates for them. But I don't know if you remember this or not from that very first book, and it's online. So Weight Watchers online, you can go back and find this, but your fist, unless you've got giant hands, but your fist is approximately 1 cup. So here's the bowl that was 1 cup. That's about right, because my fist fits in that bowl snugly. So that's about 1 cup. So if you're out somewhere and you're getting, like, let's say that you've gone to grandma's house and she's really just gonna get her knickers in a wad. If you start measuring things, because mine would have, she really, really would have, because all these starving children in China had nothing to do with what we were putting on our plates, but that she would have really been upset if we had done that. But that was a good reminder. So my fist was approximately 1 cup. Your thumb from here to here, so this part of your thumb, is approximately 1 ounce. So if somebody is, and Nicole says, can she use her husband's fist? No, ma'am. Unless he has little dainty girl hands. No, ma'am, you may not. But from here to here is 1 ounce. So if somebody's serving cheese or something that would come like that, that would be about 1 ounce. Your thumb tip, so from here to here on your thumb, is approximately 1 tablespoon. So if you did want to have some real butter on something, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. We have to be able to do this for the rest of our lives. Just be sure and count it. So this is approximately 1 tablespoon. Your cupped hand, so again, unless you have, giant hands, which I have to admit, I can get, of everybody I know, I can get the most M&Ms, and don't ask why it was M&Ms, just don't go there. I can get the most M&Ms in my cupped hand of anybody I know. So I may not be a great measurement for this, but your cupped hand is 1 to 2 ounces. So if they're having, like if they are having some kind of a meal where you're just going to graze, or like a serve yourself buffet or something, then if they had like nuts or pretzels or Chex Mix or something like that, your cupped hand is going to be approximately 1 to 2 ounces. And remember, counting 1 to 2 ounces of a cupped hand is better than counting nothing. You're already twice as far ahead as somebody who just is not counting anything if you guess, and use your cupped hand. And then the palm of your hand, just this part, that is all of this. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl says I've got 5 minutes. All of this is not the palm of your hand. That is the palm of your hand. But the palm of your hand is approximately 3 ounces of meat, like pork, chicken or turkey, since we're talking about Thanksgiving turkey, or ham. Anyway, so that's approximately 3 ounces. So, and that's, or like the size of a deck of cards. So your palm, you know, and about that thickness, or like the size, if you can imagine the size of a deck of cards, that's approximately 3 ounces of meat. So quickly, let me run down this list because Cheryl's going to start counting down the time. Oh, one other thing you can do, we got this at our meeting. At our meeting, we had, they gave us one of these. You can make your own. And on the back, it says, plan how you'll enjoy your Thanksgiving. And so it gives you, you know, they encourage you to draw on this little plate. And it bothered Gwen so bad. She gives these out every year, but it bothered her so bad because the knife is backwards in this place setting. So Oprah, if you're watching, get those reprinted because that bothers Gwen. Okay, take a paper plate and think about it. You know, use like the size of the palm of your hand, draw where you're going to put your turkey or your ham. You know, take something that's a cup, put it on there, maybe draw some little circles on there and plan out what you're going to eat. You know, maybe if there's some favorites, maybe if there's some things that you can only get them at Thanksgiving, you don't get them the rest of the year, or, you know, Gamey Num Nums makes it and you can only get it once a year, or, you know, whatever. So, you know, plan some of those things, but there's nothing wrong with practicing at home and going ahead and drawing it on your plate. If you can see it on your plate, if you can see how it fits on here, then when you get there, you can go, okay, so on my plate at home, you know, or take a picture of it on your cell phone. We're constantly on our cell phones. Who's even going to notice that you're looking at it? But look at the picture on your cell phone and go, okay, so at home I had I had meat right here, and then I had one roll, and then I had, you know, this much of sweet potato casserole, whatever, so that you can keep up with that. Okay, let me run down this list real quick before Cheryl starts counting me down. Okay, 3 ounces of turkey breast without the skin. So no skin, no fatty, anything added, just 3 ounces of turkey breast is only 1 smart point. 3 ounces of turkey breast with skin. So if you don't want to peel the skin off in front of everybody, if you just want to, or if you like it, because I do like the skin, that's 3 smart points. 3 ounces of dark meat with the skin. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. My little thing came loose, so hold on just a second here. Okay. So who just got nauseous watching that flip over? Yeah. Everybody went on a little trip, and y'all got to see my leaves down there. Okay, and this is not promising to sit here very well for the rest of the time, so I'm going to hold it. Anyway, let's see. 5 ounces. Casey said I just scared her so badly, so yeah. And Carla says she had a headache. Yeah, you should have been here for that. So my little, if you could, Casey, I'll have to show you my little, Carol says Kitty jumped off her lap. I'm sorry, Kitty. Yeah, you should have seen my little thing. So that was just to make sure y'all were still awake. So everybody's still awake? Okay. Anyway, so 5 ounces of spiral ham is 5 smart points. Mashed potatoes, a half a cup, and this is not butter-laden, cheese-laden, whatever. This is just plain old mashed potatoes, a half of a cup. And remember, a half a cup was pretty big on that plate. A half a cup is 4 smart points. A half a cup of stuffing is 6 smart points. My mom has requested, oh, and Cheryl's counting me down, so I better hurry. Let's see. Oh, my mom has requested tofurkey with the stuffing, 1 serving of that, and I think a serving is a 4th of the tofurkey. So that would be a meatless thing that y'all could do. And they're actually very delicious, so I'm probably going to, I'll definitely get one of those for her and probably end up eating it with her, but I think it's a 4th of one of those is the serving size, is 6 smart points, and it does have stuffing already. It has like a cornbread stuffing in the middle of it. That's 6 smart points. Green bean casserole, 1 cup, and a cup is going to be a huge amount, but a cup is 7 smart points. Remember, a cup is this big. That's a whole lot of green bean casserole. A whole lot of green bean casserole. And Dolly says, sorry, she's late. Dolly, you missed all the excitement. I dropped my phone. Let's see, 1 tablespoon of gravy, of like giblet gravy, is 1 smart point. A 4th of a cup of cranberry sauce. This is just plain old cranberry sauce, like out of the can, I think. Yeah, out of the can. 6 smart points. Yeesh. I won't be eating that. I'll be making some other kind of cranberry sauce. 1 cup of sweet potato casserole is 7 smart points. But again, a cup is a whole lot. A whole lot. A roll, a dinner size roll, that's not a we used to have Quincy's here, and they were huge. That is not a Quincy size roll. That's a regular size dinner roll. Is 4 smart points. If you're a wine drinker, 5 ounces of wine is 4 smart points. Pumpkin pie, 1 slice of pumpkin pie is 14 smart points. And you know what? If you want pumpkin pie, if that's something that you look forward to all year, have pumpkin pie. Now, if you're in our closed Facebook group, which let's just sidetrack again for a second. Even though, yes, Cheryl, I know it's after 8:40, it's after 20 till. In our closed Facebook group, we have several people who have put in like crustless. Good heavens, that phone's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, crustless pumpkin pie recipes that are nowhere near that many points. So, but if you want pumpkin pie, eat it. Eat 1 piece and then send the pie home with somebody else, or cut it cut the piece in half or whatever, But there's nothing that says that you can't have it. But yeah, it's 14 points for 1 piece. If you have they had apple pie on the list for some reason. I don't know anybody that has apple pie for Thanksgiving, but if you do, it's 16 points for 1 slice. Sweet potato pie is also 16 points for 1 slice, and the dreaded pecan pie. How many of you have pecan pie? How many of you, it would not be Thanksgiving if you didn't have pecan pie? Do a thumbs up if it just wouldn't be Thanksgiving if you didn't have pecan pie. Yeah, we usually have it. My grandmother used to make it every year. The grandmother that would pass out if she knew that we were measuring things. Yeah, that's 21 smart points. 21. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not thinking I'm going to have pecan pie. I'm thinking I can find other things besides pecan pie. And yeah, Meredith says they have chocolate pecan pie. So excuse me while I fiddle with my phone again. So no, it's not going to sit. So I'm going to hold it and I'm going to finish talking to you. So Cheryl, thank you for telling me that we are already past time, because I want to show you a couple of things that I made today, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this while holding my phone with the other hand. So we used to do this, right? I used to hold the phone and walk around the kitchen, didn't I? So surely I have the skill to do this. Let's see. Okay, so you're going to walk with me. The first thing is, let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, the first thing is I made and Shannon wants to know if anybody has tried the recipe that was posted in the group. Oh, that's what I was going to say about the closed group. So if you want to join our closed group, it is, if you have an egg, it's If You Have an Egg, a Weight Watchers support group, and you can find that on Facebook. If you ask to join the group, though, pretty please, actually, I shouldn't even say pretty please anymore. Answer the questions. I'm going to stop being nice. Answer the 3 questions. Does anybody want to guess how many people are waiting? How many people have bogged down the system waiting to get in, or have kept me from getting to the people who have answered the questions because they haven't answered the questions? Any guesses? Any at all? Yeah, 1,400. 1,400 people are clogging up the system. No, yeah, 1,400, Carla, waiting because they've clogged up the system because they didn't answer the question. So now I'm having to scroll and bypass the people who didn't answer the questions so that I can get to the people who did answer the questions. But anyway, so yeah, so if you want to be in our group, please answer the questions. Please. They're very simple. Very simple. And you can just put, saw the chat, saw the chat, saw the chat. Yeah. Yeah, and Kim, I don't delete them because I know some of them are, yeah, because Kim goes delete, delete, delete. Yeah, I don't delete them because some of them, like, there's a lot of them that are, I'm going to say older people. Okay, see, like Sarah. Sarah is waiting to get into the group, and 1,399 people have blocked Sarah out. Okay, Casey, did you see Sarah's name just go by? Pretty please go find her name and let her in. Okay, anyway, so let's get off of that and move on to something that I actually made. So I like pumpkin pie, okay. I am not going to spend 14 points on pumpkin pie. So I hunted around and found, okay, and Lynn wants to know, repeat how to get in the group, please. So we'll post here within this chat, I'll post the link for how to get in the group. And it should notify you because I'm going to post it in the comments here, how to get in. You can just follow that link, Lynn or anybody else that wants to get in. And yeah, but please answer the questions. And Casey, I hope you heard me, and I hope you're going to go find, was it Sarah? Going to go find her. But anyway, so I just like pumpkin pie. Okay, not 14 points worth. But I do love pumpkin flavored things. So I made these today. And Accountability Karen saw what I was going to make and has asked me to give her some tomorrow night, which she happens to be coming back to the loft again tomorrow night, so I will be making them for her. But these are made with pumpkin, and they're made with angel food cake and pumpkin pie spice. That is what the muffin itself is made out of, or it's actually like a little cupcake. But so they're just angel food, pumpkin pie, or pumpkin pie, angel food, whatever, cupcakes, little cupcakes. And then what I put on top of them, the little drizzle dressing that I used on top of them, and they're 2 smart points each. And see, and I don't know, I can control myself easier with something like that because I would count them out and put them on my plate and say, okay, I had 2 for 4 smart points, or if I ate 3, that would be 6. But what I used for the drizzle on top. This is Quest, and I'm sorry, I got my little grip stick on there, but this is Quest Cinnamon Crunch protein powder. So it was just a little over a tablespoon of that, and a tablespoon of that, and a teaspoon of powdered sugar, and then a teaspoon of vanilla, and and like a little bit, like a teaspoon of almond milk. Enough almond, a teaspoon at a time of almond milk until it was the right consistency, and then I let it sit for just a minute, and then I drizzled it on top of it, and they're delicious, and they're 2 smart points each. Okay, and then I want to show you 3 things that I make, and I'm going to carry you with me for just a second because I have to step over here and come back. Okay, I wanted to show you. This is going to serve a couple of purposes. One is to show you a couple of things that I'm making for Thanksgiving, and then the other one is to show you how quickly you fill up a 9-inch plate. So this is, okay, so this first thing on this side, those are my down to earthy green beans. Those are 1 smart point if you do the slivered almonds on top. If you don't do the slivered almonds, then they're not a smart point. But that's on my, that recipe is already on my blog. It's www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So that's 1 smart point, and this is a 9-inch plate, and it's completely full. This is a baked stuffed pear, and if you find my baked stuffed apple recipe also on the blog, www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. If you find the baked stuffed apple one and just substitute a pear for the apple, I did it exactly the same way, but I only did 320 for 20 minutes because the pear doesn't take as long to cook as the apple does, and that is 1 smart point. So far we've only got 2 smart points on our 9-inch plate. Then I added 2 of the little cupcakes. I know you're probably not going to eat those as part of your main meal, but I added them to the plate just to show you. Let's see, it's hard to see it. Will it all be in writing? Yeah, and Barbara says it's hard to see it. Yes, Barbara, it will all be in writing. But a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I like to show you pictures of it first. But so far, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 smart points on this 9-inch plate. And then the last thing, if you all, and I'll take it off and show you, but the last thing, if you all like, sweet potato casserole, this is my version of a sweet potato casserole. And so this has, let me show you this. It is literally Betty Crocker sweet potato, instant potatoes. It's instant mashed potatoes. And that's a fourth of a cup of the instant mashed potatoes and 4 ounces of hot water. And I use my Keurig. And then you divide it into 2. So each one of these, and I put them in my little silicone baking cups. So each one of these has half of that, of half of the fourth of the cup of Betty Crocker sweet potatoes in it. And again, it just had 4 ounces of water, 4 ounces of hot water. I did that with my Keurig. Then I added a half of a tablespoon of fluff. And does everybody know what fluff is? And we have a chat for that. I'll say that before Cheryl can say it. Yes, we have a chat for the fluff. So yes, fluff. And in my opinion, you need to use real fluff. So, anyway, a half of a tablespoon of the fluff, and then it has a tablespoon of Trader Joe's, just the clusters maple pecan. You don't have to use that if you don't have a Trader Joe's, just something similar, just to give it that kind of pecan, flavor, because pecans themselves have a lot of points. The cereal is just the clusters, just the clusters maple pecan cereal, and that is 2 points per tablespoon. It does have a lot of points, but it's absolutely delicious, and it's still less points than if I went crazy with some pecans. And then just some pumpkin pie spice. And so I did the, Debbie wants to know where I got the sweet potatoes. I got those at Kroger or Publix, I can't remember which one, but it's with the other, just the bags of instant mashed potatoes. I don't peel and mash potatoes. Sorry, I don't do it. I can put enough things into these bagged mashed potatoes when I reconstitute them, and I remember I cook them all with my Keurig. I'm not cooking them. Yeah, I make them with my Keurig. Then I put the silicone baking cups. So I've made, it makes 2 of them. If you only do, and Dolly wants to know where I got the fluff. So that particular brand of fluff, I can only find at Publix. I don't know what other stores have it, but if you don't have the Fluff brand fluff where you are, then you should be able to get Jet Puffed, and I'm not sure if there's any other brands. Does anybody know? I know Jet Puff is at Kroger here in Knoxville. Jet Puff is at Kroger, Ingles, and some other stores, but the actual Fluff brand I get at Publix. But anyway, so then I put that on top, and then so the sweet potatoes are already made. Oh yeah, and Debbie says on Amazon too. Of course, because you can order everything. You can order everything on Amazon. But anyway, so I've already made, so the sweet potatoes I made with the Keurig and 4 ounces of hot water. So I just put a fourth of a cup of the powdered sweet potatoes in a bowl. Add 4 ounces of hot water from my Keurig, but you can use hot water from your Instant Hot if you have that at your faucet. You can microwave the water, you can boil it on top of the stove, whatever you want to do, but 4 ounces of water, and then mix that together, and it will make potatoes. And then divide that into 2, put it into 2 of these cups, and I'll do a real recipe another time, not tonight. I'm not doing it tonight, and I'll probably do it as a YouTube video so that y'all can watch it. But put all that together, sprinkle the granola and the pumpkin pie spice on top, and then I put it in my air fryer. You could put it in your oven too, because the silicone cups are fine. You can bake in these. I put it in my air fryer on 350 for 5 minutes, and it kind of toasted the top of it. Let me get a little bit with a spoon so I can show y'all what it looks like. So, and somebody says, Tedder says that Aldi has some. It's not the fluff, but it's their own brand. I had never noticed that. But you can see with a spoon, that's what it looks like. Now, this is not my grandmother's sweet potato casserole. Yeah, again, she would pass out if she could see this, especially if she knew that I was using the coffee machine to make part of this. Oh, and especially if she knew that I didn't peel a potato, that I didn't peel any potatoes in this. But I'm going to try it for you. Yep, quite yummy. Quite yummy. So yeah, absolutely delicious. So what questions do you have? Are there any foods in particular that you're nervous about for Thanksgiving? Are there any things that you have for Thanksgiving that you're nervous about being there? Okay, and Barbara says pumpkin cupcakes. How? What do you mean how? Did you You mean, am I going to post the recipe? If you mean, am I going to post, if you mean, am I going to post the recipe? Yes, I am. So Joyce, I think Joyce is asking, yeah, I know Sybil says, where's Sally? But Joyce, I think if you're asking about the sweet potato casserole, it would be 4 points for the whole thing of sweet potatoes. So if you did the 1/4 cup with the hot water, the whole thing is 4. So I divided that into 2, and then the fluff, so that's 2 points, 2, and then it's a 1/2 point for the fluff, and 2 points for that. So it's 2, a 1/2 point, 3, 4, let's call it 4.5 to 5. So let's call it 5 smart points just to be safe for the sweet potato casserole. Okay, and Lacey's saying dinner rolls. Lacey, I don't have a good alternative to dinner rolls, honey. It's 4 smart points. Just eat one and move on. Eat one and move on. Sarah says Waldorf salad. I've actually got a, it's not quite Waldorf salad, but you could like tweak it. And sorry, the guys are getting wound up next door, but you could tweak it for your dinner. It's a ambrosia salad, and that's on my blog, www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Somebody, and I'm sorry I missed it, it went up there, it said chicken dumplings or chicken something. Cheryl says rigatoni. I know I'm going to say this wrong. Broccoli. Bracciole. I don't know what that is. Spaghetti, sausage, and a turkey. I may be coming to your house, Cheryl. That sounds like an Italian Thanksgiving. And Myra says that appetizers worry her because she has a tendency to graze. So Myra, get a teeny tiny plate. Don't just walk around with them in your hand. Don't just walk around and pick them up, pop them in your mouth, and go. Get a plate. Get how many you're gonna get on the plate, and only eat off of your plate. Do not just wander around. And Lisa wants to know if Sally's in the office. Actually, she is not, but she's going to be here soon because she was not here with us tonight. Another thing, don't wear loose-fitting pants. As Gwen calls them, buffet pants. You know, the ones where you go stretch. Don't wear buffet pants to Thanksgiving. Wear something that fits. And Carol says wine because she has to deal with her family, LOL. Yeah, 4 smart points. But honey, if you need it, you need it. Take a walk. You know, if it's going to be somewhere where the weather is great, you know, take a walk. If you're going to somebody else's house, like if they're serving stuff buffet style, walk around and look, you know, check everything out, you know, pick out the things that look the best to you and pick out which things, you know, because you can pretty much tell, you know, which things are going to be, you know, oh yeah, I never get to have that, so I'm going to have that. You know, I'm going to have that, but yeah, I could probably pass on that because I can have that any day. Or, you know, there's some things, they're going to have some things that you can literally have any day. It's not special, you know, that day. Sarah says cheese and grapes beforehand, and cheese is her weakness. So remember, Sarah, we were talking about that this is approximately 1 ounce. So just figure out, you know, how many are you going to eat? And again, put them on a plate. Don't just wander around with them, put them on a plate. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wind it down because we have not had supper yet. We've each had one of these, and I had, yeah, you'll lick my fingers, and I had a bite of the of the sweet potato casserole, and that's all we've had to eat tonight. That's all we've had to eat since like 2 o'clock, and it is 9 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to tell everybody, remember, don't panic. It's one meal. It's one meal, one time a year. Plan ahead. Get your paper plate. Get you a paper plate. Draw, you know, kind of draw it out. Picture it in your head. You know, even if you can't measure it, picture in your head what it's going to look like. So I'm going to tell everybody, have a very happy Thanksgiving. Casey, I knew you were going to say that. Dusty is in bed with Daddy, and I'm not getting him because my phone will fall over again. So sorry, y'all are just going to have to get your Dusty fixed next week. It's so rare that John's home that they're in the bed and probably starving to death. But anyway, everybody have a very safe and blessed Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a wonderful time with family and friends, and we will see you next week. And I'm getting excited because the new plan is getting closer every day. So, last thing, still keep commenting. If you have other questions, ask me because I see them. I do see them later. If you're watching this on, oh, and Sarah says, who's Dusty? Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry, you'll have to meet Dusty next week. Dusty's our cockapoo, and he usually joins the chat every week, but I sequestered him to the bedroom with Daddy for tonight. But anyway, so if you're watching this on Facebook, please do still keep commenting. If you've got questions about different things for Thanksgiving, I'm happy to answer as much as I can. Or we've got a lot of really, really smart people on here that can help me answer. If you're watching this on YouTube, please comment and subscribe and like and all of those good things. And I promise I answer those too. Or if you are reading this later on www.IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, please comment there too. I see them and I answer them. But anyway, thank you everybody. Y'all have an awesome Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to hear how you did. So I'm going to be checking in next week. I'm going to ask everybody what you did, if you had a plan, whichever plan it was, and if you followed your plan. So everybody have a great week. Remember everything we talked about, and I'll see you guys later. See you next week. Bye.